Amy wakes up to the racket of the renovations. She gets up, crosses the hallway, and goes down to the kitchen in search of a snack. She chews in silence and looks at the mess in the house, as if she didn't live there. At noon, Ruth returns and tells her that tonight they will be hosting a potential client from her father's firm. He will come with his wife and his stepson. Ruth insists that Amy needs to go shopping. She repeats that old t-shirt looks terrible. The garment is not just clothing, it's a shield. Amy wears it to hide her defeat behind the cotton. She replies that she doesn't want to go out, that the depression from the divorce is crushing her. But Ruth doesn't give in and demands a better appearance so as not to scare off the guests. Later, Amy crosses the threshold of a store. The saleswoman looks her up and down and, without enthusiasm, points to the t-shirt rack. Amy picks one out. She puts it on over the one she's already wearing. The saleswoman stands in front of her and asks her to return the garment, leaving her exposed. After the embarrassment, Amy recognizes Karen, a former classmate from school. Karen doesn't recognize her, so Amy lists memories until Karen's memory is sparked. Karen blurts out that in school Amy was bigger, pointing out her weight back then. She then brags about her pregnancy and asks if Amy is married. Amy replies that she just got divorced. Karen invites her to a weekly get-together with the girls from their class and promises it will do her good to get out, leaving the door slightly open. Shortly after, as she crosses the threshold of her parents' house, Amy collapses. Ruth runs to catch her. Moments later, Amy holds an ice pack to her cheeks and listens to her parents argue. A few minutes later, in her room, Stan sits with Amy and reminisces about her childhood. He mentions that night's dinner and offers her a wad of cash so she can buy a beautiful dress. Amy rejects the idea, but he patiently convinces her. Amy finds a black dress in which, at last, her body feels at peace, and she decides to wear it. During dinner, Amy connects with Gwen, the client's wife. They talk easily, curious about each other. Gwen mentions that her son, Jeremy, is an actor and that he has an important role in a play for the fall. She adds that he had a prominent role in a children's TV series. Missy chimes in and says that her daughter still watches that show. Jeremy lowers his gaze. He doesn't enjoy being the center of attention. Then it's Amy's turn to feel embarrassed. Ruth announces to everyone that her daughter has a very good appetite and always finishes everything on her plate, but that her weakness is desserts. She adds that as a child, she used to hide chocolates. Amy gets up and locks herself in the bathroom. From there, she hears her parents arguing about their divorce again. Amid the murmurs, it comes out that she also lost a pregnancy, and the wound is reopened. When she leaves the bathroom, she runs into Jeremy in the hallway. He also seems to want to escape from the dinner. The young man approaches and kisses her. She freezes. Then she responds. The moment grows until Gwen comes over looking for him. Amy hides and Jeremy improvises an excuse for his mother, barely holding back the consequences. The next day, Ruth tells Amy that Gwen called to ask her for a favor. She wants Amy to show Jeremy around the city. They're on vacation and he doesn't know the place. Amy hesitates, weighing her reservations, but ends up accepting the request. The decision brings them both closer to fragile ground. Amy picks up Jeremy in her car and drives through familiar avenues. She points out restaurants, shops, and corners with history. Jeremy changes the subject with a difficult question. What was it like to be married? Nostalgia catches Amy by surprise. She says she loved her life, that she adored being married, that she was truly happy. Then she adds that her ex-husband destroyed that life by leaving her, and the silence thickens. Sensing her mood, Jeremy suggests going to the beach. They drive to the shore, park, and shelter from the rain and fog. The closeness in the car raises the temperature. They kiss. They cross a line that separates a divorced woman from a 19-year-old young man. The next day, Amy visits Jeremy's house. They walk through quiet hallways and share stories. He takes her to his old room. The sight of the youthful room confronts her. That boy is very young. She hesitates. Jeremy assures her that he has already been with older women. She doesn't respond. She just breathes and holds his gaze, still unresolved. At the next family meal, Amy chews at the table with Ruth and Stan. Ruth comments that Gwen is worried Jeremy will ruin his acting career by being gay. Amy chokes and starts coughing. Stan comes over and pats her on the back until she catches her breath. Then, Amy gets up, unable to contain her laughter. To her, it's obvious that Jeremy isn't gay, and the irony overwhelms her. When she sees Jeremy again, she tells him what his mother said. He explains that as a child, he played a gay boy and did it so well that Gwen clung to the idea that he really was gay. He admitted that he let her believe it because it suited him. Amy laughs, and in that laughter, the tension eases a little. A code is established between them. That night, they meet again. They smoke under a dim light. Suddenly, Jeremy trembles with a small episode of anxiety. He ends up confessing that he hates acting. He does it because it's his mother's dream. Amy replies that if he doesn't like it, he shouldn't do it. She says that in the end, his own happiness is what matters, and the phrase lingers in the air, dangerous and true. The next day, Amy takes a photo viewer out of the closet. She goes to Jeremy's house and they plug it in. They show pictures she took before getting married. Faces, streets, lights. He looks at her with genuine interest. Then they decide to swim naked in the pool, convinced that the parents won't be back soon, trusting in a window of time that doesn't exist. In the water, their intimacy intensifies. Jeremy suggests they run away to Paris. He says she could take photos and he could write. Amy takes it as a joke and laughs. Seconds later, she gets out of the pool and mischievously sings the Canadian anthem. Suddenly, Jeremy's expression changes. Amy turns around. On the other side is Gwen. Amy quickly gathers her things and leaves with her heart racing. Later, Jeremy sneaks over to Amy's house. She takes him aside and asks him to give her mother an explanation. He insists on telling the truth about what they have. Amy tenses up. She makes it clear that there is no relationship and there will be no running away anywhere. She adds that if anyone finds out, it will ruin her father's business, who is counting on her stepfather to retire and travel the world with Ruth. Jeremy, upset, grabs his bike and leaves without looking back. A few nights later, Amy attends the reunion of former classmates that Karen organized. She joins in, laughs, and drinks too much. When she gets into the car, her body can't take it and she throws up. Karen takes her home. They go in with the lights off. Amy trips over something and an object falls to the floor and shatters. Ruth comes down the stairs and sees the broken sculpture, that piece she had waited for so long. The wound is reopened in a second. Enraged, Ruth lashes out. She says that Amy always destroys things and then plays the victim. She adds that ever since she came back, she's given up, just like she does with everything in her life. Amy asks when she supposedly gave up. Ruth lists things she abandoned, including her marriage. Amy, hurt, replies that she didn't abandon it, that she was left. The living room turns into a boxing ring. Ruth fires another jab. If she acted in her marriage the way she does at home, that's why it didn't work out. Amy explodes and accuses her of not caring about her. But Ruth is unmoved. She says that no one in this house has ever cared about her. Finally, Ruth confesses that she needs Stan to close the deal so she can retire and travel, just like she's always wanted. And she concludes that Amy is the one standing in the way. She withdraws to her room. Amy is left speechless. The next day, Amy meets with David, her ex-husband, to discuss the divorce settlement. He keeps interrupting to check his phone. That repeated gesture reveals a simple truth to Amy. She was never happy with him. She stands up and thanks him for ending the marriage. She explains that she thought she was happy, but she wasn't, and she didn't know how to end that chapter. For the first time, she admits it to herself. In the end, she clarifies that there will be no changes to the agreement. She invested a lot of time and deserves to be rewarded. She leaves the restaurant and walks out feeling lighter. When she gets home, her parents are celebrating. They hand her a glass of champagne. The deal has finally been closed. Amy wishes them the best with a controlled smile, but something is still stirring beneath the surface. That night, they host a gathering to celebrate the business deal. Jeremy arrives with his family. In a hallway, Amy and he finally talk after the argument. The exchange pushes them back to the edge. Jeremy leans in and kisses her in very intimate places. At the same time, Ruth and Stan open the door to the room. They freeze at the scene before them. No one says anything. Ruth quietly closes the door. The silence is heavy. The next day, Amy packs her suitcase. She tells her father that she'll rent an apartment while she looks for one to buy. Stan responds, but he's not receptive. He's upset about what happened. Amy lowers her gaze and keeps packing. The bond grows tense and the distance between them increases. Then, Amy seeks out her mother and apologizes for what happened. Ruth is devastated. At first, it seems like it's because she saw Jeremy with her daughter, but what really breaks her is something else. Stan has no intention of stepping down. He never seriously talked about retiring and traveling the world. Her hopes crumble. Amy hugs her. Ruth tries to pull away, but in the end, she leans on her daughter and hugs her back. She apologizes for what she said when the sculpture broke. The ice begins to thaw. Later, Amy visits Jeremy to say goodbye. He is going off to college. She tells him that she will start taking photos again and that she plans to travel the world with her mother, since Stan won't do it. They hug each other tightly, prolonging a moment they won't be able to repeat. Then they part, aware that this is the end. Amy no longer runs from the past. She walks toward it with the camera in her hand. Sometimes, rebuilding yourself isn't about becoming who you were, but about learning to look at your story with new eyes. And so, Amy moves forward, with a path of her own that is finally beginning to take shape.